At my 12th anniversary dinner, my sister-in-law slapped me because I served my children, then myself, before her. You forget your place in this family, Camilla snapped. My daughter dropped her fork. My son froze. I looked at Owen. My husband stared into his wine glass. So I set down my fork, wiped my hands on the napkin I had ironed that morning, and slapped Camilla back once. Then I took both children and walked out. At my friend's Commonwealth First Bank emailed about a $286,000 loan for Camilla's business. I was listed as guarantor. I had signed nothing. Then the banker asked whether I had approved a $48,000 wire from my children's savings and why Owen scheduled it before our anniversary dinner. Before I reveal what my husband and his sister had hidden, hit like and comment where you're listening from. Tell me whether you would have walked out that night. Your perspective reminds me I'm not facing this alone. My name is Rachel Whitaker, and by 38, I had spent 12 years confusing silence with peace. I lived in Midlothian, Virginia, with Owen and our 2 children, Sophie, 10, and Miles, 7. I worked as Director of Patient Revenue Integrity for a multi-state hospital system. My job was to trace duplicate payments, verify approvals, and investigate what happened when money moved without the right person knowing. At work, silence around a missing authorization was a warning. In my marriage, Owen treated silence as a solution. When we first met, he was warm, funny, and nothing like the controlling family he described with embarrassed affection. His father had died when Owen was young, and his older sister, Camilla, had helped raise him. That history became a debt she collected forever. Camilla decided where everyone sat, who was served first, and which family problems belonged to everyone else. Their mother, Judith, reinforced it. Camilla sacrificed for this family, she would say. In the beginning, Owen occasionally defended me. By our 5th year, he had stopped. Whenever Camilla criticized my cooking, changed plans in my own home, or called my salary hospital paperwork money, Owen gave me the same exhausted answer. You know how Camilla is. That sentence never required Camilla to change. It only required me to endure her. The house they treated like Whitaker property had cost $615,000. I had put down $132,000 from selling the condo I owned before marriage. I paid most of the mortgage and nearly every renovation. Still, Camilla sat at the head of my table. Judith expected to be served first, then Camilla, then Owen. I usually ate last. I told myself it was an old family habit, not a declaration of rank. For our 12th anniversary, I wanted one quiet dinner with my husband and children. Owen asked whether Judith and Camilla could join us just this once. I should have said no, instead. I bought flowers like the ones from our wedding, ordered the same cake, and spent 2 days preparing a meal meant to remind us why we had chosen each other. I did not know Owen had invited them because Camilla needed more than dinner. She needed my signature. Camilla arrived 25 minutes late and walked past the flowers I had arranged. She kissed Owen's cheek and placed a thick navy folder beside his chair. What's that? I asked. Business paperwork, Owen said. We'll look at it after dessert. Camilla smiled at him and sat at the head of my table. Judith settled beside her and ran one finger along the pressed linen. At least Rachel made an effort, she said. I ignored it. I had spent the afternoon roasting lemon chicken, stirring mushroom risotto, and decorating the anniversary cake Sophie helped me choose. The children were hungry, so I served them first. Miles thanked me. Sophie whispered that the flowers looked like our wedding pictures. For one moment, the evening felt like the celebration I had wanted. Then I spooned a small portion onto my plate and sat down. Camilla's chair scraped against the floor. Rachel. The way she said my name made Miles lower his fork. Yes, you served yourself before me. The dishes are in the center. Everyone can reach them. Judith frowned. In this family, guests and elders are served first. I served my children first, I said. Then I sat down at my own anniversary dinner. Camilla stood. You always need to prove you are different. I am not proving anything. I am eating. Her hand crossed my face before I saw it move. The sound silenced the room. My cheek burned. Sophie's fork hit her plate. Miles froze. You forget your place in this family, Camilla said. I turned toward Owen. He looked down at his wine glass. I waited. He could have stood. He could have told his sister to leave. He could have asked whether I was hurt. Instead, Judith said, Camilla lost control. Let us not make this uglier. Something inside me became completely still. I set down my fork, wiped my hands on the linen napkin I had ironed that morning, and stood. Then I slapped Camilla back once. The table gasped as if I had introduced violence into a peaceful room. That, I said, stepping away, is the only thing you will ever give me that I return personally. Camilla shouted that I had attacked her in Owen's house. This is my home too, I said. But this marriage may not be. Owen finally stood. Rachel, calm down. We still have something important to discuss after dessert. His eyes moved toward the navy folder. I saw sticky notes marking signature pages inside it. Then I took Sophie's hand, Miles's coat, and my purse. A husband who watches his wife get hit in front of his children does not get to ask her for patience. Owen said I could not take the children and leave. They just watched you choose silence, I said. They are coming somewhere safe. I walked out with both of them. I thought I was leaving because of the slap. I did not know the papers in that folder were designed to put my income, my house, and my children's savings behind Camilla's failing business. Priya opened her door before I finished knocking. She took one look at my face, moved the children inside, and asked no questions until Sophie and Miles were asleep in her guest room. Sophie had whispered, "Did Aunt Camilla hit you because you ate first?" "No," I said. She hit me because she believed no one would stop her. The plate was only the excuse. Miles asked why Owen had not come with us. I could not answer that yet. After midnight, I checked my phone. An email from Commonwealth First Bank carried the subject line Final Guarantor Verification. The borrower was Camilla House Events. The amount was $286,000. The guarantor was me. The message included my income, the equity in our house, retirement balances, and the last 4 digits of my Social Security number. It scheduled a verification call for Monday morning. I assumed it was phishing until I found the bank's official number and called. A quality control specialist confirmed the application existed. The file contained our joint tax returns, my driver's license, mortgage records, and a personal financial statement claiming I owned 15% of Camilla's company. I do not own any part of that business. I said. I did not apply, consent, or sign. His voice sharpened. He placed the loan into fraud review and stopped all pending disbursements. Then he asked whether I had approved a $48,000 equity contribution scheduled for Monday. I logged into our joint accounts. Owen had created a wire to Bellwether Family Investment Escrow. $26,000 would come from our emergency reserve. $22,000 would come from the savings account we had built for Sophie and Miles's education. I canceled the wire. I did not empty the joint account. I left enough for the mortgage, utilities, insurance, and the children's ordinary expenses. Owen had called 17 times. When I finally answered, he began with Camilla. I should have stopped her. I froze. Why is my name on her loan silence? Then he said he had planned to explain everything after dessert. Camilla only needed temporary support. Bellwether Hall would produce enough revenue to repay the loan. The electronic signature was preliminary. He was certain I would agree once I understood the opportunity. You did not ask because you knew my answer. We are married, Rachel. These decisions affect both of us. You scheduled money from our children's savings without telling me. I was going to replace it. With profits from a business that needs their money to survive, he begged me to come home. I asked one question. Did you look away because you froze? Or because you needed me calm enough to sign? He did not answer. The next morning, I downloaded 4 years of statements. The $48,000 was only the transfer I had caught for more than 2 years. Money labeled insurance reserve and property escrow had been leaving our accounts in smaller amounts. Every payment led back to Camilla. By sunrise, I had protected every account I could without touching money needed for the house or the children. I froze my credit, changed my financial passwords, removed Owen's access to my retirement portal, and redirected my salary to an account in my name. Then I sent Commonwealth First Bank a written statement denying the guarantee and requested preservation of every portal log. Uploaded document, email address, device record, and signature page connected to the application. The statements told the rest. Over 26 months, Owen had transferred $72,400 to Camilla. $24,600 paid overdue vendors, $15,800 covered payroll shortages. $12,500 became the deposit on Bellwether Hall, $9,700 paid business credit cards, $6,400 covered equipment and van rentals. The final $3,400 paid appraisal, consulting, and loan processing costs. None of the transfers carried Camilla's name. Owen labeled them insurance reserve, tax adjustment, property escrow, or family reimbursement. He usually moved the money after a bonus or refund, then replaced enough before month end to keep the balance from looking alarming. Camilla House Events was not expanding from strength. It owed vendors more than $80,000. 3 business cards were nearly maxed out. Twice. New client deposits had covered expenses from older events. Payroll had already been late. Bellwether Hall was not a stable investment. It was a larger loan designed to hide smaller failures. The bank file showed Owen had uploaded our tax returns, mortgage statement, my license, and retirement figures. An email address one character different from mine had confirmed the electronic signature. The application described me as a silent 15% owner in Camilla's company. I owned nothing. The portal history showed the account had been created 1 week before our anniversary. Then I found the messages. Camilla had written, "Keep her calm tonight. Once the bank funds Monday, she can be angry afterward." Owen answered, "She will sign. She always chooses peace." Another message read, "Do not let her turn dinner into one of her lectures about controls." Owen replied, "Mom will handle her." That was why Judith and Camilla had been invited. The anniversary dinner had been a pressure meeting decorated with wedding flowers. Inside the navy folder were a family investment acknowledgement, consent to personal guarantee, authorization for the $48,000 wire, and a signature page marked with a yellow tab. Owen had planned to tell me it was only temporary support. In reality, my income, retirement, home equity, and our children's savings would have stood behind Camilla's debt. "You used our anniversary to corner me," I told him during our next call. "I was trying to save my sister's company. You were willing to risk our family so she would not face the numbers she created." Camilla called next. She did not apologize for hitting me. She accused me of destroying jobs and ruining the purchase. "I declined to guarantee your business," I said. "Your financial statements did the rest." Judith demanded that I withdraw the fraud objection, return home, and apologize for slapping Camilla back. "I will not defend the second slap while you erase the first one." Monday morning. Commonwealth First canceled the closing. Camilla lost Bellwether Hall, and the preserved records meant Owen could no longer call $72,400 a few small favors. Commonwealth First formally denied the $286,000 facility that afternoon. The notice cited a disputed guarantor, inaccurate ownership disclosures, an invalid equity contribution, and financial statements that could not support the loan without me. Camilla did not lose a successful expansion. She lost the chance to buy Bellwether Hall with a signature she never had. The $12,500 deposit was non-refundable. Without the loan, she sold extra equipment, closed her expensive office, and moved operations into a shared commercial kitchen. Several events were transferred to other planners so vendors and clients would not be abandoned. Her company survived, but smaller. I filed for legal separation and requested temporary financial protections. Owen still saw Sophie and Miles on a structured schedule. I did not use the children to punish him, but Camilla could not attend exchanges. Judith could not tell the children I had destroyed the family, and Owen could not move joint money without written notice. Sophie asked me whether serving herself that night had made things worse. "Nothing happened because of a plate," I told her. "It happened because adults believed respect only moved in one direction." Miles asked why his father had not protected me. "Your dad made a wrong choice," I said. Adults still have to live with the choices they make. During financial disclosure, Owen admitted everything. He had uploaded my records. scheduled the $48,000 wire, and known the bank expected my guarantee. He claimed he believed I would agree once the family explained how many jobs Camilla's company supported. Consent after being cornered is not consent, I said. Then he admitted why he had looked away. He had not expected Camilla to hit me, but once she did, he was afraid confronting her would destroy the dinner before I signed. You protected the transaction before you protected me. He lowered his head. There was no answer that made that smaller. The $72,400 was addressed through settlement. Camilla paid $21,000 from equipment and inventory sales. $14,400 came from outstanding client receivables. $25,000 was deducted from Owen's share of our marital assets. The remaining $12,000 would be repaid over 24 months. I asked only for the money that had been diverted, the direct cost of protecting my credit, and documented expenses tied to the false application. The house required a separate calculation. I traced the $132,000 down payment to the condo I owned before marriage, after accounting for mortgage contributions, current equity, and Owen's unauthorized transfers. I bought out his remaining interest. Sophie and Miles kept their rooms. 9 months after the anniversary dinner, I ended the marriage. Owen asked for one final chance. I finally understand that looking away was a decision. He said, "Yes," I answered. It was the decision that ended us. Camilla had slapped me to remind me of my place. In the end, she and Owen lost access to everything they had treated as automatic: my income, my signature, my home, and my silence. For the next year, every conversation with Judith and Camilla stayed in writing. They could not come to my house without an invitation, contact the children's school on Owen's behalf, discuss my finances, or use Sophie and Miles to carry messages. There were no family investments, no emergency loans, no signatures assumed in advance. Without spending half my energy managing the Whitakers, my life grew quieter and stronger. I kept the house. Sophie and Miles settled into a stable routine. I focused on work, rebuilt the children's savings, and stopped apologizing for peace that did not require my humiliation. On the first anniversary of that dinner, Priya and 2 close friends joined us for a simple meal. The napkins were not ironed. Nobody sat at the head of the table. We passed bowls in every direction and ate while the food was still warm. I served myself without thinking. Sophie watched me place food on my plate. "Can I serve myself too at this table? Nobody needs permission to have a place." She smiled and reached for the potatoes. Miles claimed the last dinner roll, and the entire table laughed. My phone lit up beside me. Owen had written, "I still regret looking away." I answered, "I believe you. Regret is still not repair." Then I turned the phone face down. Camilla had used a plate to remind me where she thought I belonged. A year later, I was sitting at my own table, surrounded by people who never required me to become smaller before they made room. Camilla slapped me because she believed my place was beneath hers. Owen looked away because he believed I would stay there to protect our marriage. I walked out with my children because I refused to teach them that family loyalty requires surrendering dignity, money, or consent. She told me I had forgotten my place. Walking out was how I finally chose it. Would you have left that night or given your husband one more chance? Comment below. Subscribe and stay for more family betrayal and clean revenge stories.